Hello everyone, thank you very much for joining with me here today. Today we're going to learn about how to create a Python function that will create the Fibonacci series for us. So what is Fibonacci series? The Fibonacci series is the first two elements of Fibonacci series is 0 and 1. The pattern it follows is the two adjacent numbers, for example, since like 0 and 1 are next to each other. So if you want the next number here, then we have to add the previous two numbers. So 0 and 1 is 1. So the third element of the Fibonacci series is 1 as well. And if we want the next one, that's the fourth element, in that case we have to add up the third element and the second element, the last two elements. So in that case we have 2. So 2. Similarly, 2, 1 and 2 is 3. We got 3. Then 2 and 3 is 5. We got 5. So as you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The sixth element of the Fibonacci series is 5. So we're going to go ahead and get started on the coding. So as usual, I'm using PyCharm IDE for coding in Python. So let's go ahead and get started writing the function. I'm going to define the function as fi Fibonacci series, and the parameter it's going to take is n, the nth term. Now we know that the first term of the element is 0. So let's say if n equals to 1, that is the first term. If you want to know the first term, it should return 0. Then if n equals to, we also know the second term is 1. Return 1. Now, okay, I'm gonna just say else if else we want to define our first term and second term. So let's say first element. Actually, so let's first Fibonacci equals to 0, and then second Fibonacci equals to 1. Now we're going to create two temporary variables, that's 1 and 2 equals to 0. Sorry, I'm going to set both of them into 0. In a while, you'll see why I created those temporary variables. So while we want, since we already figured out what the value for n equals to 1 and n equals to 2 should be, so we wanted to run up to 2, the while loop. So we're gonna say that n greater than 2. Now what we want to swap the values. So let's say first let's store the first element into temporary 1, that is first fib. Then the second element, store the second element into temp2, second fib into 2. Now what we want is the next time in the series we saw, so 0, 1, and when we have a third element in the series, in that case the second one in the previous function will become the first one. So what we want here is we're gonna set the first variable equals to temp2, and then the next variable, the second variable, will become the addition of the first and second variable. So we're gonna now update second equals to temp1 plus temp2. Now we want this while loop to start. Stop. So we have to decrement or increment n. So n equals to and minus 1. So every time the while loop runs, the n will decrease one time, one value. Now we want to return, after the while loop has ended, updating the value of the first term and the second term, first Fibonacci number and the second Fibonacci number. When it's done running all the time, then we want to, whatever the value is left for the second Fibonacci number, we want to return that, because that is our return, that is a Fibonacci number that we are looking for. So I hope I didn't make a mistake. I'm gonna go ahead and run the code. Fibonacci series, and I'm going to put n equals to 6, as we already saw. 6 is 5. I'm going to go ahead and run that, and here we see 6 is 5. I can change it. If I change it to 5, it should give us what it should give us. 5 is 3. No, 5 is 5. I think 5 is 5. No, 5 is 3. So 3, yeah, 5. Or 7. We can put 7 as well. So it should be 8. So this is how you create a while function in the Python. Using like Python, you can create a function that will give you any number in the Fibonacci series you want.